if you had a job where you come to work and people clap for you, it would change your entire mood.
Don't this hit make my people wanna jump? Don't this hit make my people wanna jump? Don't this hit make my people wanna jump?
Watch the series finale of X-Men next Saturday morning. Check your local listings.
It won't take long when there's a song to help you set the pace.
This is pathetic.
Where we used to live. Why did you keep the mousetrap?
Life could be worse.
This is the worst.
This is the worst.
This is the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal. Send me a kiss, my wife. Baby, my heart's on fire.
And the Disney stock just keeps going down and down and down.
I'm bag of pixie dust. Contraband.
They're going to do the Mary Poppins thing. They're going to do it. They're going to do it.
Magic mirror on the wall. The fairest one of all.
Oh, bitch, you killed Kenny.
Kenny.
You fat hoe.
I get it. I'm not persecuted. I'm just an ass.
If you haven't subscribed to Lorena yet and you're watching this, you suck.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm Reina Creole, of course, bringing you that spice when it comes to sci-fi and pop culture analysis, and always keeping it real when it comes to theme parks. And speaking of keeping it real, let me just say, Variety, I love y'all, because Variety dropped an article with all the tea about what was going on behind the scenes with this PR nightmare known as Disney's live action Snow White. And it turns out Ms. Zegler apparently does not want to listen to the people who were signing her checks. So we are definitely going to delve into that. We're going to talk about Ubisoft. They need a win, and Assassin's Creed Shadows ain't it. So we're going to talk about that. And of course, we have got hot topics to go through to keep you guys informed and up to date about what's new, what's happening, what's shaking, what's popping in the world of pop culture. So I see you guys starting to gather in between YouTube and also streaming on X. So if you're watching on YouTube, please do give this stream a thumbs up. Lets the algorithm know I'm here, and it really helps out the channel. And if you're over on X, please make sure you heart this stream as well. So first of all, let me bring in one of my co-hosts. You know how my friends do. They drop in, and we bring them on screen as they drop in. So with us, we have got Ron Bradley of Follow the Bradley's Fun. How are you doing, my dude?
Nope. Am I here? Wait. Oh, good.
Yeah, I see you. I see you.
How about, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear
Okay,
you.
I can be seen and heard, except I'm not really seen because I'm behind the scenes. Just because I think my left eye is probably red and watering right now, and it's still, the pollen is I mean, outside it kind of looks like your backdrop. it's the pollen is floating everywhere.
Oh, that's why
those
I haven't gone outside.
Yeah.
not going
Oh,
outside. Dude, you need allergy nasal spray and you need allergy eye drops.
yeah, and I have those things. And the funny thing is, like a day like today, I was in my studio most of the day, and so when I'm in my studio, there's nothing back there that's bothering me. And and then I go outside one time, and it just like hits, and it's like I come back in and I don't realize it. And 30 minutes later, I'm like, oh, okay, now I'm stuffed up and all this stuff. And I don't really like taking the medicine because it, affects you negatively in other ways. Not necessarily, um, it doesn't necessarily make me tired, but sometimes it does. And I never know. It's one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, today the medicine's fine, and now the next day I don't know what else I ate. It's crazy, and it's just, it's
I know. I have had to take extra allergy medication because my skin kept breaking out in hives.
yeah.
And I've never had that happen. It's been a bad allergy season. But what is not bad is you folks here in the chat. Let's run through and say hello before we kick off the craziness known as this show. So let's see. We have got Juliet who says, good evening, Lorena and chat. Well, good evening to you, my dear. Glad to see you. Of course, we got Ron here on the panel. So he's saying howdy to everyone. Yes, please do hit that thumbs up button on the way in. That is what some people call your price of admission. Sure would appreciate that. Kevin Arnold says, hola, everyone. Well, good to see you, Kevin. Glad you're here. Ellen says, for what it's worth, I'll be listening. May not be watching chat the whole time. Well, lurking is okay, too. I do that with a lot of channels where I'm working on stuff and I'll see who's live and I'll just kind of be, lurking there. But that's okay. Your presence is definitely valued. Snow Beige and the 7 CGI abominations. Yeah, that's putting it nicely. Let me tell you. Chef Nation says, good evening, beautiful people. Well, good evening to you and to Little Chef. I see you holding there. Good evening to both of you beautiful folks. Tom, who helped me get this gaming computer online, says, oh, those colors you got on those fans, very Easter. Yes. I freaking love these fans. I love them. They're Lian Lee fans, the ones with the light chasing, and Thermaltake is the air cooler that's on the CPU back there that you can see. So yes, I love them. I love them. I want all the RGB. Zegler thinks she has the #1 show in history. Just ask her. Well, we're going to talk about that. We are going to talk about that delusion. That's for sure. And Marcelo Lopez, hello and welcome, says it's called cognitive dissonance. And yes, this chick has it in spades. And yes, this is endemic in Hollywood. So to kind of, I guess, reinform people and reinform folks who are usually here in the chat. Your girl lived in Los Angeles for 5 years, and the stuff that I saw go on in Hollywood, it is like nowhere else at all. Up is down, down is up, cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria, that kind of thing. And when I left, I said, Hollywood deserves all the clowning that people do about it because it's not normal.
Anything can happen. It's Hollywood, baby.
Hollywood.
Weird.
Oh, we're gonna see that. We are so gonna see that, and you guys are gonna crack up when you see the Chinese response to this film. It turns out we're pissed off about the same things, We surely are. Just listening in mostly, but here for the community who care about making a better Disney. Yes, I am definitely in that camp. Some people want to see Disney burn to the ground, never to be seen again. I'm one of those who wants Disney to burn to the ground, but to come back, like the Phoenix and be the company that the company that Walt built, pretty much like that. So it's like, yeah, you give them props for the stuff they do right and pull out the pitchforks and the torches when they do stuff wrong. Hey, DJ Knight, I see you. So it's good to see everyone. This will be a lot of laughs. Yes, indeed, because we love to make you laugh. Phil Metzger, hello, chat. I'm jumping around from stream to stream. Yes, that happens with a lot of folks. So no worries, no worries. You can have several tabs open with several streams open. I'm just saying that's kind of what a lot of us do. So let's see. I think I just said hello to everybody. So let's get started. 70 of you folks in here watching. As always, we got to start with the hot topic. And this hot topic is actually one of my pet peeves. And why the heck do I not have my Chrome tab up? That's really, really weird. Oh, there we go. Okay. My fault. I don't know how many of you have seen this, but Pedro Pascal was at the premiere for The Last of Us. And all I'm going to say is this is yet another example of really, really freaking bad fashion. I'm just like, go ahead, Ron.
No, I'm just laughing. I'm literally just laughing. It looks like somebody. It looks like as he was running out the door with a plaid jacket and a purple shirt on, he ripped his pants, and he's like, "God, get me! My pants are completely off. Somebody find me something." And they're all like, "I just got these 2 hefty bags." Well, take the hefty bags and wrap them around my legs. and so you got black hefty bag leg pants. I don't know.
I'm just looking at this, and it's so irritating because I remember back in the day when men dressed very well in Hollywood. I'll roast the women at a later date, but when men dressed very well in Hollywood, when you saw them, it was like they were very well put together. I don't know where the heck he got this. The jacket it looks like it's hanging off of him like it's not his size. And you've got like a blue turtleneck, and then have got these, I don't know if they're leather or whatever, but are they boots? Oh my gosh, they're boots. Or is it the pants made to look like boots?
It's the Joker's bad backup outfit.
I just cannot kiss my grits. It must have been laundry day.
Yeah, that's actually kind of how I look on laundry day sometimes. Not kidding.
I'm like, I'm sorry, you couldn't have your PA or your personal assistant go pick you something up at Gucci. I mean, I just don't. Yes, Tom, garbage bag pants. Literally, it's like, I guess it's leather. Could be pleather, who knows? Because it's not PC to wear real leather in Hollywood. So it's like they got the pants, and then it's like instead of putting a pocket on the butt, it's like front pockets that looks like he's going fishing in the bottom.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are one step closer to bringing back parachute pants from the 1980s.
Except I don't think Pedro Pascal can dance like MC Hammer.
How many zippers do those pants have? My gosh, I don't know if you know this, but like I had to do MC Hammer on stage one time in Six Flags, 1992. One of my solos was Prey, and I was not originally cast in that position, but the guy who was the MC Hammer impersonator got fired because he never showed up on time. Then they had to switch some things around, and I, me, Lorraine, So hopefully I can say this. I was the blackest person in the cast at that point in time in 1992. So they threw me into the MC Hammer part, which was hilarious. And I had these big old MC Hammer pants on that looked like a big giant shining disco ball because my outfit was like all silver sequin. Well, here's the funny thing. So because I had a super quick change, like I said, I wasn't originally supposed to be in that part. So I had a very super quick change. So I had to take my long sleeve shirt and tie it around my waist and throw the Hammer pants on over that. And there people in the audience one time complained to Six Flags because they thought my junk was flopping around, and it was the sleeves of my shirt.
Well,
Funniest thing. I'm like, no, that's not me, guys. That's not even possible.
hey, Dylan says, who's the lost weatherman on screen? Good seeing you, Dylan. And Chef Nation said, what's up with this look? Oh my God. I hate bad fashion. I hate bad fashion on women, but I really hate bad fashion on men. And I posted on X, I said the fashion police need to issue this dude a citation because there is no freaking way. His friends didn't tell him what he looked like before he left the house.
And this is why I didn't vote for Pedro during his Napoleon Dynamite days.
No. And yes, hated it. 2 snaps in a circle.
Oh God.
You have to watch and live in color. Dag on it. Oh, this is perfect. Yes, I absolutely hated this. I hate it when men dress badly. It's not sexy. Okay, it is really not sexy whatsoever. It looks like my drunk uncle putting his on clothes on. So let's go out. Oh Lord, please, no.
Nothing about him screams Reed Richards to me.
Nothing at all.
Really. I see this kind of stuff and I get angrier and angrier that he was cast as Reed Richards. It's
he's
really
not
bugging me.
Richards. He's just not. Marcelo Lopez, how do I get a Florida icon? 305 represent. All right, 305. If you become a channel member, you get a Florida icon right next to your name. So there's 3 levels of membership. Membership starts at $1.99. So that's how you get one. Let's see, Phil Metzger is here. Good to see you, Phil. And Emily, good to see you as well. And this said, can't touch this. He has no friends. Yeah, and the PA is probably like, look, I'm still trying to get paid. I can't tell him that he looks like that. He'd better, Marcelo. Well, especially as it's a Marvel/Disney movie. Yeah, you better have him dressing right because that's just horrible. Jeffrey Weir, good to see you. Darth Plato, good to see you. We have got Marilyn M in the chat as well. So good to see you guys. So yes, Pedro, you need to get yourself some friends and tell you to not leave the house looking like that because not good. Anybody
You know what? I'll bet. Let me just make. I think this was his outfit when he came in to audition for The Mandalorian, and they said, "Oh, this is perfect. You're going to work out really well because we'll never see your face or your outfit. We're just going to put metal all over you, and it'll be fine."
Kiss my grits. I'm laughing so hard. You know why? Because I used to live in LA. Q Joan Rivers. At least we know Pedro was planning to attend the after night party at the Leatherborn West Hollywood.
Oh my gosh. That's funny, KMG.
Oh my gosh, yes. Woo. Oh goodness. Let's see. Darth, you have an outfit just like that? I bet you your outfit looks a lot better than that. Leo in Sports. Hello and welcome. Says Lorena is the real Disney princess. She's hot.
Oh,
Oh, well, God bless you, my dear. Thank you. Thank you. That just makes my day. Blue Oyster Bar. You know what? Yeah. Yeah. Go watch Police Academy if you don't know what the reference
oh
to
my gosh.
Every movie they used to do that, and that was freaking hilarious. But yeah, I don't give a crap about Andor. Hold on a second. His pants look like they're made from Go with
And
Shogi.
or
Man. Let's see. Worst Doctor Who cosplay ever. Oh, yeah. Yeah, don't go out like that anymore, Pedro. Anybody give a damn about Andor?
I mean, it was named accurately. It's like, are people going to watch this and or something else? I don't know. It should be called and/or. That would be and or.
Well, the season 2 trailer came out, and Diego Luna prepares for a different kind of mission. The Empire cannot win. Yeah, I mean, we knew that's what happened, but I'm not into Andor, but I will say this about Andor. Their showrunner keeps things tight. Every episode visually looks good. The costuming looks good. All of that stuff looks good, but the story just bores the heck out of me, and I've fallen asleep trying to watch Rogue One twice, so it's not for me. It's not for me. It's not for me. I'm not interested in it. However, I do have to give it props about how good it looks. Just unfortunately, Disney has botched Star Wars so badly that something can be good, and it's just like, you know, I'm not really interested. So I know for me, it's just like, it looks good. It's the show running is great. People who watch it say that they love it. It's just not for me, and I'm just not interested.
You know, I just realized something though. They could use Andor as a stepping off point to reopen the Halcyon Galactic Star Cruiser. They couldn't charge as much for it, but they could be like, yes, this takes place during the Andor period, so nothing's going to happen to you. You're just going to stay on the ship. It's a 2-day stay on the ship, and that's it. There's no story, there's no LARPing, no anything else. You can eat at a nice restaurant. You might have some strange lady sing to you at a bar, and that's all. It's great. It's the price is now $1,000 for 2 nights. It's great, wonderful.
You know what? When I was driving to the Magic Kingdom yesterday, and I had to make a turn to go towards Magic Kingdom, I'm like, why is the sign for the Galactic Star Cruiser still up there? I mean, you turn and you literally see tumbleweeds. That's where that is. I'm like, there is no Galactic Star Cruiser. Maybe you need to fix the sign,
Lorena, though, to be fair, have you been to the Animal Kingdom Park lately?
Not lately, no.
Okay, so when you're coming out of Animal Kingdom Park and you're going on Osceola Parkway the other way, you're coming from Animal Kingdom, leaving, going on Osceola Parkway, there are 2 signs up there that are still the big giant signs over the highway, over the road. Mm-hmm. And they are almost completely whited out by weathering, and they haven't replaced those at all either. I mean, they are just, and also they have the signs that are still red and purple up, along with the new color scheme signs that are blue. And it looks. I have never seen Walt Disney World property. I'm not talking about the parks, and I'm not talking about the resorts. I am talking about driving around Walt Disney World property. I've never seen it look so bad as its current condition. And I'm talking about I was there, I drove around when it was empty in 2020 and everything was like shut down, and it looked
Mhm.
better and more pristine then than it does now. It is. I can't believe the state of Walt Disney World, because the way I'm seeing it now, and don't get me wrong, people like in the chat, you're not from here. I'm not saying it looks like, World War II happened or anything like that. I'm just saying that as far as Disney standards are concerned, the precedent they had set in the past was so high that you would just always expect everything to be completely pristine, and they've
Right.
just fallen way down from that
Yeah.
level.
They really have, and it's so obvious, and it's such a shame. Darth Plato says, "Thank you, first of all, for being a member for 27 months, my dear. I so do appreciate the support." Said, "I'll defend Andor, you and Abu Nas, and that's okay. That's okay. I tell people it's not for me, but I will say, compared to, well, there's not even a comparison. The Acolyte, the rest of them, they couldn't even come close to what it looked like. Andor, I would actually consider going back and seeing at a later date, but yeah, just not now." Hey, Real Wade Nation. Epic looks so good now, Reina Creole. Yes, it does. Epic Universe. Oh, it's going to be such a game changer. Speaking of a game changer, because I love horror movies, and I actually like the Saw movies. I would say maybe up to Saw 6 or 7. The last Saw movie was ass. I hated it. Apparently, Saw 11 is being taken off the 2025 release calendar. So Jigsaw won't be returning to theaters in 2025 after all, and I think that is for the best. Saw 11 has been axed from the release calendar. Lionsgate Glory Slasher, the 11th installment of the long-running franchise, was scheduled to open September 26, 2025. The studio will instead release another blood-soaked horror film, The Strangers Chapter 2, on the newly freed date. Now, The Strangers, I've heard, is actually very good. It made a lot of money. The Saw franchise makes a ton of money. Don't get me wrong, it does. But if you binge all of the Saw movies, right around Saw 7, Saw 8, that's when you kind of see the wheels falling off the bus, but it's so bad, it's good. It's just like, okay, we'll just go through and watch it. But it's a very obvious decline in quality. It started relying more on gore rather than the intrigue with the gore kind of put in there together. And a lot of the Jigsaw games were pretty stupid. That was the other thing. So apparently, let's see, Billy the Puppet, the ventriloquist dummy used by Jigsaw Kramer in Saw, is apparently well versed in these reports, which he dismisses as idle chatter. The spooky doll promises he'll eventually return to theaters. "I've seen the rumors. They say it's game over," Billy the Puppet said in a statement released by Lionsgate. I actually like how they did this. "You all should know me better than that. The game is never over." So it's for the best. I think the Star franchise needs to go back to the drawing board. It's nowhere near as bad as Star Wars, Disney Star Wars, if you like that. But it's kind of at the point where it's just like, look, maybe we should go back and
I don't know.
do it.
I don't know how many of the Saw movies I've seen. I love the first one, and I'm pretty sure I've seen 2, 3, and 4, maybe 5. But I like, at some point in time, movies like that, when they're like, it just, 'cause if I remember right, the very first movie, the guy that was behind the whole thing, he was supposed to be dying of cancer, and I'm like, and I guess did somebody else take over for him or something like that? I don't really know. But I mean, the first one was so good and so clever,
Oh,
and it
was.
was so well done. Although there was a point in time in the first one where the two characters are still alive, and the one had the saw, and I wanted him to go, "You need to saw your leg off right now," and then Carrie Ellis would have said, "Okay, as you wish." That would have really changed the whole dynamic of the thing. You win.
Last one I might have seen was 4, I'm guessing. Yeah, the first Saw movie it's great. It's so good. It's so good. And let's see. I just saw Teresa there. Hey Teresa. Good seeing you, my dear. And Dylan says, yes, I saw the trailer for Final Destination Bloodlines. It's the last movie that Tony Todd was in, so I'm definitely going to check that out. Final Destination.
There's another Final Destination movie. Okay.
Yeah, the final, I guess it's supposed to be the final destination, but the shtick in it is so darn funny. I love it. Kiss My Grits, my opinion on the Saw franchise is the same way I feel about Scream. Just end it already. Yeah, either end it or you need to come back with a bang. Take as long as you need to take to get the script right. Go back to what you did with Saw 1, 2, and 3. And go from there. Going Shogi, hello, my dear, says Saw 10 wasn't bad. I didn't care for Saw 10. I really didn't. I fell asleep on it, which I never fall asleep on horror movies, but I did on that one. It was just not my cup of tea. And Death Metal Assassin, hello, says it's best for Saw to just rest already. Yes, rest up, go back. Lock yourself in a room and watch the first 3 Saw movies and start sketching out what the next one is going to do. Subvert our expectations in a good way, and I'm pretty sure they'll be able to do that.
I think when it comes to scary movies, I think with Epic Universe opening, I'm more excited. I hope Creature from the Black Lagoon does well, and they could actually build out a modern monsters franchise. They were going to try to build Dark Universe as a franchise with The Mummy with Tom Cruise. It did not work out. That movie was like horrible, and I really hope they get Black Lagoon correct, because if they do, and that they can create a modern version of those monsters and actually have them all work together, and then you can experience that in the park as well. Oh my gosh, that would be great.
Well,
that would be like Haunted Mansion on steroids.
Mm-hmm. But that's where they're going. I mean, forget the Wolfman. That movie was crazy. It wasn't really all that good. The Creature from the Black Lagoon movie, again, like you, I'm hoping it will turn out well. James Wan is writing the screenplay, and he is a master at horror films. So I can't wait. I hope it does well. Along with Creature from the Black Lagoon, okay, there's a new Mummy movie that is coming out. I think they just finished the script for it by the same people. Blumhouse, Atomic Monster. So basically the same production house that's doing Creature from the Black Lagoon is going to do The Mummy. So considering that The Mummy, I think The Mummy's in Dark Universe. I'm pretty sure all of those Universal monsters will wind up getting their own films. And it looks like Blumhouse is going to be doing it. Well, Atomic Monster got bought out by Blumhouse, so they're kind of like all the same. So that's where the horror movies are coming out. And one of the things that Blumhouse is very good at is keeping the prices, like the cost of production, low. They hardly hire a lot of, big names for their films, so that the movie just winds up paying for itself and generating, profit at the same time. So that's something to look out for. I love the original, The Mummy. Well, yes, the 1930s one, and also the one with Brendan Fraser. So I'm very curious to see how Blumhouse is going to put their spin on it. What do you think, Ron?
I'm with you. Like, I love I love the Brendan Fraser version. The Tom Cruise, what they did with The Mummy with the Tom Cruise movie, I was like, it didn't make
I don't acknowledge it.
sense. I can't wrap my head around. I couldn't like. I tried to watch it, and I even wanted to like that film. I like Tom Cruise as an actor. As a person, he's weird, but as an actor, I think he's great, and I really wanted to like it. But the Brendan Fraser movies, the way it's set, and they mixed just the right amount of humor for the most part in there. There's a couple jokes that don't land along the way, but they just did such a good job of making a movie what a movie is supposed to be, which is a fun time of escapism at the movies. That's exactly what the Mummy franchise with Brendan Fraser is. And I hope they can do something like that with this if they're going to bring it back. And of course, I'm also hoping that they do have all these monsters work together in the same universe. I think, isn't that like how they started in the past in the 1930s or whatever? Weren't they all sort of in the same universe? Or I'm not that well aware, but it feels like Frankenstein, and they had Frankenstein and Dracula together in movies back then and stuff like that.
That's something I'd like to go back and check out, definitely, for sure, because I love those films. Kiss
The
My
Invisible
Grits.
Man.
This is actually a I'll say somewhat new story. With this one, apparently it's a let's see, plot details are being kept in the sarcophagus, but it is understood that Costa and Raina are playing a married couple who, along with their daughter, cross paths with Mummy Dearest. And it looks like it's being I guess the showrunner is, what's his name? Lee Cronin, who actually wrote Evil Dead Rise. That was actually a scary ass movie. It's not like the Evil Dead movies with oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting. Was it William Campbell? Yeah, it's not the ones like with Ash or anything like that. Evil Dead Rise was like, they came up with a totally new, totally different concept with that. I think it's on Ash. Yep. I think Evil Dead Rise, I think that's on Netflix. I actually enjoyed that. I enjoyed that a lot more than I thought I would. So if he's bringing that level of horror to The Mummy, I think that's going to work very well. So hopefully that one is going to do good. Real quick, this is exciting to me because I love anime, and it seems the Japanese are the only ones who are remembering Walt's legacy and actually showing it some kind of respect. So there is a show coming to Disney Plus, which is based on the mobile game Disney's Twisted Wonderland. And what it is I almost want to call it like Hogwarts with the Disney villains. So there is literally, you want to say like this Disney villain school of magic that they have going on. So it's already a successful manga in Japan, but since Disney wants to get in on the anime thing, they're going to bring this to Disney Plus. So here you've got students of Night Raven College who seek to follow in their predecessors' tutelage. Each house or dorm is meant to represent a villain's creed, whether it's the strict disciplinary style of the Queen of Hearts or the cutthroat competitive nature of the scorned second brother from Sand. So I am looking forward to this. This is the art from it. If you've ever seen the anime or read the manga for Black Butler, which is another very, very successful anime and manga, this is being run by the same guy. So I'm really excited about this to see this. And again, if you've ever watched Star Wars Visions on Disney Plus, it is amazing. And they're all anime, so it's all, Japanese animation. It is amazing how much reverence they have for Star Wars that Disney themselves does not. So this looks like it's going to be cool. I think it's going to be a really big hit with like older kids and teenagers, and may actually have a little bit of maybe some Kingdom Hearts references thrown in there too. But that's just me. That's just me. Do you watch any anime at all, Ron?
You know, when I think of anime, I think of things like from my childhood, like, and I don't even know if they could be considered anime, but the way they were drawn back then and what anime is now. What was his name with the Mach 5? Speed Racer, Space Ghost. There's a couple different cartoons back then that were kind of anime like. You know what I really, it's this, I think this is considered anime, and I really, really enjoyed it. And it was a live action movie. Was it James Cameron? I can't even remember her name, but they recently said that they were thinking about doing a sequel. It didn't do very well in the theaters, but once I saw it, I liked it. And for some reason, I can't think of the name of it now. Girl, big eyes. They did a live action. And if somebody in the chat, I'm sure will know what the heck I'm talking about, right? From a couple of years ago. No, it wasn't. I don't think it was Sailor Moon. Oh God, what was that? Anyway, it was good. That's it. Alita Battle Angel. Yep.
Oh,
Battle
yeah.
Angel, So that I'm guessing Alita Battle Angel is from anime. Is that correct? Is that? Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So
Which one? Can you repeat that? I was reading something.
I said Alita Battle Angel. I think she's from anime. I love that movie. The movie was I really enjoyed it, and was kind of sad because I realized I don't think I saw it when it came out at the movie theater, and then I realized once I saw it, I'm like, oh shoot, I think that would have been really good on an IMAX screen, and so because it's a little jarring at first in the live action that they've got her still looking like a live action person, but with the like anime exaggerated features, and but it came across right. It worked, and so much better than another certain live action that went to theaters like this week that's not working at all.
Yeah, I think it's going to have English dub. Usually they do when Disney Plus puts these on, but I just wanted to point some stuff out. Look, that's the magic mirror. And you saw in the beginning, there was like this sculpture with all the Disney villains. So they have that. And then all of these, I'll blow it up, like emblems for all the houses. That's obviously Queen of Hearts. You've got Scar. Down here, you've got Ursula. Cool. This is freaking amazing. This has got to be the evil queen right here from Snow White. So this looks cool. So yeah, it should have an English dub. I believe it is going to be releasing later this year. Disney released the trailer for it, and I love this. Oh my gosh, this gives me kingdom. Oh, it looks so good. So I hope that this goes well. Again, this anime is really great, and and your kids are, well, I'll say the older kids because the little kids might get freaked out, but I can see this definitely being a hit with older kids. So I'll definitely keep an eye out on that. But I love anime, so that's why I wanted to bring that up to you guys. Yeah, I heard about Wolf of Wall Street. Make sure your parental controls are on, guys. I'm just saying. So over 100. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
What happened with Wolf of Wall Street? What am I missing? Oh, it's on Disney Plus. Oh, my wife loves that movie.
Yeah, it's on Disney Plus. So yeah, check your parental controls if you don't want your kids seeing it.
Yeah, that's got some bad stuff. But Wolf of Wall Street, man, it's a wonderful movie if you want to learn about sales. That's all I could. It's really, really good.
I've never.
Tell me this pen. My wife loves it. My wife is a person that does not rewatch movies, and I think she's rewatched that movie at least 7 times during our marriage, maybe more. Yeah, she just And she is one she's really good about herself. She just ignores all the bad words and the bad stuff in it, and she's focused in on what sales techniques can I learn from watching this movie. That's all she watches it for. It's motivation to her.
Well, speaking of sales techniques, probably the folks from Ubisoft need to watch The Wolf of Wall Street. Coming from PC Games, Assassin's Creed Shadows isn't the hit Ubisoft desperately needs, analyst says. Assassin's Creed Shadows is selling well. That's a video game for folks who don't know. But it's reportedly tracking behind Assassin's Creed Valhalla and falls short of 2025 hits like Split Fiction. So I don't know how many have been following what's going on with Assassin's Creed. The more I start getting back into gaming, the more I pay attention to gaming news. And Assassin's Creed Shadows, of course, big kerfuffle because they decided to drop a black samurai into it when there was zero historical proof that Yasuke was a samurai, which he was not. But Ubisoft says, screw that. We're throwing that in there anyway. We've got a female shinobi that's not out of the ordinary. Because some females were. And on top of that, so much disrespect. Shrines getting, trashed. And I've heard some of the voice dubbing in it. It's freaking horrible. It was just so messed up. But let me bring one of my other friends who just popped in, and that would be Erica from Hanging with Erica and Rob. How you doing, my dear?
Hanging by a thread, but here.
Well, I am certainly glad you're here, my dear. We're talking about Assassin's Creed Shadows. I don't know if you follow gaming news at all.
Very light. I used to watch that gameplay. It's like every week, and then I just lost. Just keep forgetting. But yeah, I've heard of this one. And is this the one where it was like the samurai and they have offended Japan?
Yes. Yes.
So that's still going. That's still an ongoing thing.
It's still an ongoing thing. As a matter of fact, the Prime Minister, I think, of Japan brought it up in a legislative session, just how disrespectful, because for folks who don't know, and I hate some of these streamers, they will go to foreign countries and they will do the most outlandish, disrespectful crap just for clicks. And you had bloggers, TikTokers going over to Japan and doing stupid stuff. The most famous one, which happened in South Korea, is Johnny Somali, just like harassing people. And that's what's been going on in Japan. So, they're a very polite society, but they're a society of very strict rules, as you know, Erica. So they brought this up in Parliament, and with this particular video game, it's just like, no, it's super disrespectful. And from what I've seen leading up to this game being released, there are so many disrespectful decisions that have been made, and there's no such thing as a black samurai, plain and simple. Yes, 100% true. This Yasuke, basically, a figment of someone's fan fiction, so to speak, and I believe the professor who came up with the whole book about Yasuke, which is basically fan fiction, he got fired from the Japanese university that he was teaching at because there was no when it comes to historical sources, you have to have something that's independent and verified by more than one person. That didn't happen here with this. It was some weird citation, and it had you got DEI going on with the gaming, so this is why you got this here, which is ridiculous. but they wanted to push it, and it was ridiculous.
Oh,
Yeah, like having a black Panther. So yeah, we're gonna talk about that too. We're gonna talk about too.
my next question, has Japan banned the video game by chance
No,
from the
they haven't
country?
been. No, they haven't banned it.
Nice.
They haven't banned
Is that
sales,
next?
but
Is that next?
maybe I don't know. Culture Casino is having a very bad time with this game. Yeah, I saw him. I saw him playing it. I'll play the Yasuke simulator. I'll play that because that looks like a fun time. But I am just not interested in playing a video game that's been sold. I won't say on a lie, on a very historical, inaccurate thing. I mean, you want to make it up as some kind of fantasy world, okay, fine. But this is supposed to be feudal Japan.
Yeah.
No, that does not work in that case.
It'd
But
be different if it were just an independent, standalone, new fantasy game versus Assassin's Creed, which these Assassin's Creed video games, they've been around for a while. So there's like an established canon, storyline, history, and then they do this.
Yep, they
Yeah.
do this. They put, let's see, Yasuke, he winds up tapping Nobunaga's daughter and some what is it? Non-binary person to it. Oh God,
God.
it was really, really messed up.
Wait,
Yeah, I could see why the prime minister said something about it.
I don't understand why any games at all, when you're out there, you're acting as a character, all you're doing is fighting this or that. Why do any of them have to be gay, LGBT, non-binary, any of that? Why does any of that have to be mentioned when that has literally nothing to do with your experience in the game? Not a thing. It's the dumbest thing ever. It's just like if by having
Like, I have to be represented, you know, and
I know my point is
offended.
my point is that if there's no representation, then it's 100% representation because you can make yourself into that character of whoever you want. If I were like a gay boy growing up, I could just imagine Superman as being gay, and then I could throw that stuff on it. Like that. That's what I don't understand. Also, for me personally, I also don't really understand this. I also like to see stories, generally speaking, about people that I'm not. I don't care about if I'm watching a story that's appropriate about an LGBT person, whatever their life, and because I find it interesting because they're different. I don't want to see everything that's about me or representation. That's really selfish and stupid and idiotic, and it doesn't make sense. Why can't people just write good stories? But in a game specifically, the reason I'm saying this is like there's only one game that I play, and that's Marvel's Contest of Champions on my phone. And all the time they talk about which characters are LGBT representation. I'm like, you do the same thing with every single character, so it doesn't matter. All you're doing is you're in fights. So what's the point?
Because here's the thing. Because back in the day, when gaming companies were gaming companies, they were run by people who loved video games. See, this is why I feel like I'm waking up, like I've been asleep and I'm waking up in crazy town when it comes to gaming. Now you have these tourists running gaming companies. It's not about the game. It's about how much representation can we get into the game to make it appealing to marginalized groups. That's all they care about. They don't even care if the game is really good, if it makes sense at all. They really do not care about that. And that's where that's where AAA gaming is going. Well, we'll say in the US, because I know Ubisoft is French Canadian, but Japanese and Chinese don't have this problem. I'm just saying that. Christian Joe says this game sure isn't Ghost of Tsushima. Yes. Watching gameplay, it reminds me a lot of Ghost, but Ghost did a heck of a lot better. Yeah, the Japanese loved Ghost of Tsushima. Is it Tsushima? I keep saying it wrong. They loved that game. And that was an American studio that did it. And believe it or not, they got hate from somebody who I think they were Korean. They weren't even Japanese. They were saying, how come you didn't have any Asian, any Japanese working on the game? It's like, who the frick cares? The game was awesome. People clocked many hours in using that game, but that's because they respected the culture, they respected the time and the era of that particular game. I just like the whole thing where you can use your samurai sword to like whack people and then flick the blood off the blade. That's so freaking crazy. I know, I'm weird. Hey, CJ says he used himself as a reference by quoting posts he made on Wikipedia. Yeah, that dude was an idiot. But Ubisoft bought it, hook, line, and sinker. Yeah, they need to, but we'll see what they do, because now it is definitely on the radar of the Japanese government. But let me read through here a little bit. So let's see. Many speculated Assassin's Creed Shadows would be one of the best-selling games in the entire series thanks to its intense marketing. Yeah, marketing where they had a Taiwanese boba shop tie-in with Japanese game. Makes zero sense. Due to its marketing, long requested feudal Japan setting. So Ubisoft announced that it's reached 2 million players already. But despite some really encouraging sales and engagement numbers, I haven't been able to pull up how many people are playing that on Steam right now. Top analyst now claims that its strong performance may not be enough, saying that Shadows isn't the smash hit that Ubisoft desperately needs.
So on average, what's considered a good number for people playing the game in the gaming industry?
That is a very, very good question. That I'm not really sure what they considered their sales to be a hit, but from what I'm hearing here is that the sales are nowhere near at this time what it was for Assassin's Creed Valhalla, one of their previous games. So, and that's been on. So this has been on Steam for day one, but with Assassin's Creed Shadows, apparently you can't play it with Ubisoft Plus, where you can pay monthly. You have to like buy it all in one shot, and it's not cheap. It's like $70 US. 70.
No.
And I was watching Asmongold play it, and he was like, He was like, it's okay. It's all right, but it's not. Yeah, it's like it's not all that. So yeah, games are not made for gamers any longer, coming from guys that's been gaming since the first TRS-80 I had. Yes. Yeah, and with Ubisoft, do you know they were threatening to sue people who, quote unquote, would threaten their devs when they're reviewing Assassin's Creed? Yes. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. There's another
I
name.
heard they were pissed off about, was it the reviews? There wasn't getting good reviews. I didn't know about the other part. They were trying to sue people for giving bad reviews.
They were going to legally threaten them, threatening to sue them. Yeah.
So you're threatening, I'm sorry, let me get this straight. You're threatening legal action for somebody having an opinion and expressing their free speech. Yeah. Good luck on that one.
Yeah. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. But apparently, let's see here, Assassin's Creed Shadows Steam sales also pale in comparison to some of 2025's mega hits so far. 3 days after the launch, Shadows has apparently sold 310,000 copies, and a similar flame, Split Fiction, shifted 882,500 units on Steam, and Monster Hunter Wilds, which is what I really, really, really want to play, 3.7 million units. So, yeah. it ain't doing so great. Not at all. And Ubisoft is bothered by the fact that it's not outperformed Valhalla is also a bit surprising and concerning, at least for this person who wrote the article. I have not seen any hype, really, for Assassin's Creed Shadows. I know a lot of people talk about the previous Assassin's Creed game, especially Assassin's Creed Black Sails, which looks really good because that's just pirates and whatnot. That's like Pirates of the Caribbean. They were going to sue people that harassed their devs officially. Yeah, they said that. And I'm trying to remember some guy, I think he was reviewing, he wasn't like, literally when they say harass the devs, it's like even if you just said like some kind of comment about you didn't like what the devs did with the game. Yeah, that's what they tried to do. It was really
Devs is in developers. Is that what that
yeah
means?
yeah, like they're developers. Like if you say something to them on X or in Discord or something like that, yeah, they were threatening legal action. It's like, yeah, good look for that. Good look for that. The graphics in Black Flag were better than this new one. That's what I heard. That's what I heard. Assassin's Creed Black Flag is freaking awesome. So yeah, Ubisoft couldn't happen to a better gaming company. And I think Tencent is going to wind up buying them. Tencent, which is a Chinese company. I think the same ones that own TikTok, I believe. I could be wrong, but I think that's what it's there. Well, folks, let's go with what you came for. Coming from Variety, inside Disney's Snow White fiasco, death threats, beefed up security, and a social media guru for Rachel Zegler. So in a nutshell, yes.
That's the first I'm hearing about that.
Wait, Snow White is a fiasco? No, you can't. This new Snow White. I can't believe this new Snow White is a fiasco.
I know, right? Who would have said that something like that was going to be coming? Oh wait,
practically unpredictable. Practically unpredictable.
It's oh my gosh, it's vindication actually for some of the things that YouTubers like us have been saying based on her behavior, based on how some of the PR statements that were made. We pretty
just looking at this picture, I have to say something real quick. Just looking at this picture, I can say that Rachel Zegler is perfectly cast as Little Red Riding Hood right before she gets eaten by the wolf.
What did I tell you backstage after our review? So one thing I forgot to mention was that she looked like Red Riding Hood when she was coming back to the palace.
Do you know what I said in the movie theater when I saw this Red Hood? Who the bleep is this? That's literally
it's Little Red Riding Hood.
And I had to say bleep because there were kids. There were kids near me, so I had to like censor myself. But let's check out some other media.
Can I just ask a real quick question? Because I have not, and I am not going to see this. I heard that she wins simply because she happens to know the names of guards.
Yes. Yes.
Best thing I've ever heard in my life. I've heard that she wins just because she happens to know the names of the guards and she addresses them by their name. I'm like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Oh, in the movie. Okay.
Yes, it's like, Tom, I know you and this. And Yeah, you and Harry. I know your family and your wife, and and so they all turn around and have an "I am Spartacus" moment. It was complete BS. Now I know why the queen grabbed that dagger and was about to stab her ass. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But coming here from Sky News Australia, I'm just gonna let this roll to kind of
I love Sky News.
folks up. They do. Lefties losing it with Rita Panay. You've got to watch
Going
that.
woke and going broke once again. The film production juggernaut refused to learn from the mistakes of Bud Light and Nike, pushing ahead with their hyper-woke remake of the Disney classic Snow White.
No longer 1937. She's
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true. The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Weird. So we didn't do that this time.
So you remember that, right? You know?
Well, you know what I think about that, Cal? Hold on.
That's, yeah. And as Disney purists, like all of us on the panel are, them's fighting words.
Oh, big time. Yeah.
You know, by the way, having rewatched the original Snow White, one thing is incredibly clear, and that is that Snow White and the prince had clearly met previous to what you see in that 1937 movie. Why do I know this? Because when she's singing, she says, "I'm wishing for the one I love." In other words, she already knows that she loves him to find her. And then he comes up and he does. And he startles her, not because she's never known him or seen him. It's because you know how that feeling like you're pining over somebody and you wish they would show up and they do, and it's like, whoa, that was quick. Like that's what that moment is. And if you read anything else into that, you're just like you're clearly putting that through a filter where what you're imagining doesn't actually exist. What I think there was probably some scene that they talked about that ended up not getting into the 1937 version because they decided they wanted to start with the queen and show how evil she was, and that's what they started with. But it's very clear that there was a moment when with the prince and Snow White were somewhere else at a party or something. They spotted each other across the room. They kind of fell in love there, but maybe didn't have the chance to actually interact. I would have loved that to have been built upon in a live action version of Snow White. It would have been to flesh out the love story would have been great, but it was very obviously there. And because in 1937 they wanted to focus on the dwarfs, which made the most sense. Yeah, you can just kind of tell they wanted to go for the comedy and the motherliness of Snow White and how she ended up, even grumpy, ended up falling for her at the end as far as like being like a mother type figure. That's where they wanted to focus on in the 1937 version of the story. But also the love story and her interactions with the queen and everything, that kind of stuff could have been expanded on and would have made for a great live action. And they went this whole other direction. And the reason they went the whole other direction wasn't Rachel's fault. That was the creator's fault way back when they started this whole project in 2016. We keep forgetting that this project's 9 years old. And
2016, sorry, Ronnie, made to cut you off. 2016. Plus, you have a screenwriter who's hardly written any big budget movie before. So this whole thing was just doomed from the beginning. No,
there were like 7 writers.
Yes, zero respect for the source material for this. But you know what? We are not alone in our thinking. So let's find out what the report from China is on this one here.
Uh-oh.
I have to state that I don't make a habit of eating shit. However, I did go to see Snow White.
Oh,
Now, the beginning of a Chinese movie influencers review on Weibo yesterday.
Weibo is basically, so we'll say it's CCP Twitter, so to speak. And if you think we're savage about this film, the Chinese are even worse.
After Snow White, which simultaneously bombed around the world over the weekend, crashed and burned at the Chinese box office, despite Disney pushing hard to make the controversial live-action remake a success here. Despite opening on the Chinese mainland with 34,000 screens.
Okay. You see that number, right? 34,000 screens. How many screens in the U.S. did this movie play on? I think it was like 4,000 or something like that.
4,200. It was 4,200.
This is insane.
They were relying on the international side to make up the money.
I think so.
Disney
They love China.
panders to China, and the funny thing is they blatantly put communist overtones in this movie, obviously in a way that China didn't like, because my understanding at the beginning of it is Snow White's going around and like wanting to give apple pies to everybody in the kingdom, and just her idea of fairness is distribution. Which distribution is a form of communism. It's not people like getting what they earn, it's everybody getting equal. So, but that's not what China wants their people to see, and that's fairly obvious, because communism in actual practice doesn't work the way that communists think that it's going to work in theory.
And even so, with that actually isn't the biggest problem that China had with this.
Friday, the film only managed to rake in less than US $900,000, an average of about $25 per
$25 per screen in China. In China. And I bring this up because I can't tell you how many showings I would look up, on the Regal app for Snow White. And you see these theaters that maybe had 2 people in it, advanced purchase, 5 people in it. I think the largest one I saw was maybe 15 people in it. But when you're talking about showings, like matinee showings that families would, usually would go to, probably nobody in there.
No.
Nobody in there whatsoever. And Kiss My Grits, I just saw your super chat. Let me bring that up. $25 per screen. That's basically 2 people here. So thank you for the $9.99.
No, it's not even that though. Let's be fair. It's $25 per screen over the entire weekend. So it's like, that's not $25 per showing. That's $25 per screen over the entire weekend, which means there were tons and tons and tons of empty showings completely. I feel bad for I feel bad for the movie theaters, because they actually have to spend money running this thing when there's nobody there.
They absolutely do. So thank you, Kiss My Grits, for that. Here, let me hook you up.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal. Send me a kiss by wire. Baby, my heart's on fire.
It says, hey, Disney, you just lost the Snow White movie war to Universal, who miscast an even more insufferable Kristen Stewart as Snow White. Yes, I remember that. Colossal embarrassment and failure by Bob Iger and Alan Bergman. Yeah, it's like failure. It's not even a strong enough word to cover just how much of an absolute floating garbage fire that this movie is.
What makes it worse is that it's common knowledge now that Snow White in 1937 is what literally put Disney, the company, on the map. And who doesn't love Walt to begin with?
Bob
So
Iger.
all that history, and then this is what you come up with?
Yeah.
You know, just after, your 100th celebration, which technically this should have been released during that time,
Mm-hmm.
and which goes back to how far removed they are from Walt. Because if they were really in tune to his legacy, they would have done this the right way and released it during the 100th celebration.
Absolutely.
They were too busy reshooting it in their second or third summer in London, as Rachel Zegler has let everybody know
They
that
hate
she
Walt.
spent 3
That's all
summers
there
over
is
there.
to it.
Exactly.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know what?
they hate Walt.
They see him as some white supremacist, and they have to suppress him and anything that he brought to the table, which, by the way, had it not been for him, you wouldn't be where you're at today with a freaking paycheck.
None whatsoever. And Florentin, you bring up a good point. Because I live in an area that has a lot of Latinos in it, and they were not showing up for this film. Let me tell you, they certainly were not whatsoever. Average price of a ticket in China is $5.79 USD. Really? Wow, that's cheap.
Do you know, you guys both know Virginia, my beautiful wife. She's from Venezuela, and guess who her favorite Disney princess is?
Jasmine?
No, it's Snow White. But Snow White is her favorite Disney princess. Snow White is her, and she wants to see Snow White represented as Snow White. She does not want to see Rachel Zegler represented. She doesn't want to go to the live action because he loves the classic Snow White. It's people like these characters for what they are, what they originally started as. There's a reason why Snow White is a beloved character. It's not because of the color of her skin, but it has to do very, very much with her overall persona of purity and kindness and gentility and all of the character quality traits that Rachel Zegler doesn't have. I think it was, weren't you the one, Erica, saying earlier that she's just got a snark on her face the entire time she's trying to be kind?
The entire time in the movie, she just got this snarky look to her face, and it's this condescending look. And it's just something that permeates with her even off camera.
Exactly.
Look at her at the Oscars standing next to Gal, where she just the same look on her face. Like she just can't get rid of that look, and it just comes through. It just shows who she is, and she can't act because a real actress would be able to mask that,
Exactly. I wanted to show you guys this.
No,
This is over in China in an IMAX theater. There's like, what, 3 people, I think?
Could you imagine those dwarves? They look like they'd be coming after you.
Oh my gosh. I'm trying to find some of the quotes. Let's see. Here we go.
Zegler, a US actress of Colombian descent, while progressive in terms of diversity, has triggered a cultural disconnect that Chinese moviegoers see as a deviation of the story's foundational imagery.
And that is the same complaint people here in the US have said about this live action remake. The imagery that it started out with in 1937 was not mirrored in the live action. So if you think that it's just a quote unquote American chuds who are against this film and have no interest, the Chinese would also like to speak with you about that. I'm just saying. And it is just amazing when you go through some of these quotes. I'm not going to go through all of them, but they echo what we've said, what other people have said, even when this film was announced. I'm trying to find the one with the it's fine if there's a dark-skinned Ariel, but now there's a brown-skinned Snow White. Have you ever thought about why she was called Snow White?
Well, I
No, they
mean,
completely changed that backstory.
here's what bothers me about this is that when it comes to white people, there is a hypocrisy. He had to be of Latin descent to play Maria in West Side Story. That was essential to her casting. Steven Spielberg asked for it. All the producers asked for it. The director asked for it. So if in order to play, and by the way, she's not Puerto Rican. She's got a half Colombian background. But they just wanted, generally speaking, somebody who was Hispanic. So that would okay. So to play Maria, she had to be Hispanic because Maria is a Hispanic character. I would assume that somebody who is going to play Tiana should be of African American descent because Tiana is African American. So why is it so bad for a white person to have to play a white person? I don't understand that. That to me is just hypocritical. And technically speaking, doesn't that make this cultural appropriation? Just
It does, but to be blunt, you have got a bunch of blue-haired white women in these media production companies that are doing this. And it's insidious, but it's just like, do you hate yourself that much? Do you hate your own people that much in order to do something like this? My Colombian people don't like her at all. Yeah, I don't like her at all. I got cousins who live in Colombia. No, I do not like her. But
now it would have been funny though if instead of going with apple pies, he would have said, when I was younger, my father used to distribute small arepas to all of the villagers out there. That would have been awesome. Little apple covered arepas.
arepas just taste so gross. Like zero flavor to them. But this is to preface this article here, which has so much tea. We are going to enjoy this. First of all, 135 of you watching between YouTube and between X. So thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Please hit that like. Please heart that live stream. Here we go. From Variety by Tatiana Siegel. Inside Disney Snow White fiasco. Death threats, beefed up security, and a social media guru for Rachel Zegler. And that's her face. That's the insufferable face that we had to put up with while watching this whole film. Just want to bring that up. So on August 12th, 2024, 3 days after Rachel Zegler hit the stage at Disney's D23 fan event to introduce the first official trailer, Snow White, she thanks supporters effusively in an X post for driving the teaser to 120 million views in 24 hours. 1 minute later, she added an afterthought in the same thread. And always remember, free Palestine. Now, Gina got fired for less than that. Not even on the same level as saying something incendiary as that. Purposely pissing off viewers before the film comes out. But wait, it gets better. That addendum, which amassed 8.8 million views, nearly 4 times the number for the initial post, quickly made the rounds with many inside the studio. Let me repeat that for the people in the back. With many inside the studio expressing shock that the Snow White star would commingle the promotion of its 270 million tentpole with any kind of political statement. Now, that's what a lot of us were thinking. We're just like, are you serious? You come out with such an incendiary statement like that. And I know on several streams when this happened, we were just like, and Disney didn't do a freaking thing. At least that's what it seemed like. So apparently a Disney executive raised the studio's concern with Zegler's team while the film's producer, Mark Platt, flew to New York to speak directly with her. so bad. The producer, this is the money person, one of the money people putting up part of that $270 million, flew him out to New York to basically have a come to Jesus meeting with Rachel Zegler. But the actress, whose relationship with the studio began to unravel in 2022 during a contentious West Side Story award season campaign, and continued as she trashed the beloved original Snow White, stood her ground, and the post remained. Behind the scenes, death threats towards Zegler's co-star, Gal Gadot, who is Israeli, spiked, and Disney had to pay for additional security for the mother of four.
That's actually the craziest part of the story to me. Like that death threats against Gal Gadot, which I mean, you think about the fact that if you're looking generally speaking left to right, it is the left that's supposed to be tolerant, right? And it is the people who are on the left who are supportive of Rachel that are now creating these death threats against Gal Gadot. This is horrible. This is, I mean, what a situation that we got over a freaking. I mean, it's so funny because this is a Snow White movie. Her political ideology, Rachel's political ideology, she's welcomed to, but the fact that she threw this onto a post that's specifically promoting Snow White becomes a huge liability for the company of Disney.
Agreed. And you would think that, hey, the producer flew out here to talk to me, kind of like, you need to tone that down. And what do? You freaking ignore it. And not only do you ignore it, but let's read that. Well, not only do you ignore it, but the fact that your words have consequences. When you went into that territory, basically your co-workers getting death threats and Disney has to pay for security for them.
How is it Gal isn't suing?
That could come later. Doesn't have to do it now. She probably needs to let a lot of things die down after this movie's out, even on streaming.
Yeah.
That's mind-blowingly.
And the worst part of this is
that was going on.
For those that may not be aware, she's a mom. She has 4 kids. She's married. She's happily married. She's mom. Her behind the scenes life, her out of the stardom life, is very pretty normal. I mean, she's got a lot of money, but I mean, she's got a normal family, husband, kids. They do family things together, and so for that to be threatened, it's more than just her. We're talking about her kids.
And that's what pisses me off, because as a mom, if this had happened to me, I would literally, no doubt, would want to rip her darn throat out for saying something like that.
Oh yeah. Like,
'Cause
I've
it's
got
not the-
kids, and you're
Yeah.
putting my family at risk, not just me, because of your words. There are crazy people out there that won't just have it out for Gal, but they'll have it out for her whole family.
Exactly.
Like, that just there are no words to describe now Rachel. I mean,
I have words.
Even calling her a female dog doesn't even begin to describe what a low life person she is.
And it gets worse. Here's the quote. She didn't understand the repercussions of her actions as far as what they meant for the film, for Gal, for anyone, says one insider. So basically, she had 0 F's to give about anybody but herself, according to this one insider. But that jives with the attitude that we've seen her give when she's, when she's been interviewed, when she wasn't on a leash.
Mhm. That's still no excuse. I mean, like
Oh no, nobody's
you're still
excusing her
not
behavior.
like just because your mouth runs away from your brain doesn't
She has
mean
a brain?
that you're not excused from the consequences of your words.
I think with this quote, it's not that what poor Rachel. It's kind of like this chick didn't understand the consequences of letting her mouth run off the way that it did. At least that's the way that I read it, because she's responsible for her own actions, and it's pretty obvious she didn't care about anybody but herself. But yeah, that's a good point. 3 months later, following the presidential election, Zegler posted "Duck Donald Trump" and made Trump supporters never know peace on Instagram. Y'all remember that?
Very clearly.
Lost her crap on Instagram and went into this really just crazy ass diatribe after the election. And we were just like, well, what the heck happened? Disney, aren't you going to do something about this? Well, Disney had enough, given that the star was signaling to half the potential audience of an already troubled film plagued by costly reshoots to stay home. And we talked about that. Platt made the case again to Zegler. After a back and forth, she began working with the social media guru paid by Disney to vet any posts before the film's March 21st bow. How many times did we comment about it seemed there was a shift in how she was posting?
There was a shift because somebody else wrote it.
Yeah, exactly.
And we said that. We said that. Didn't we say, PR probably wrote this for her?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We were all kind of like, it's a 180 in her attitude, and it doesn't contain the bad punctuation that she uses or anything like that.
Right. I mean, this is more than just vet any post. I think this is write the actual posts, and Rachel probably doesn't see them until after they're out. It's so funny because, when you look at, for example, right now, there's the Instagram post of her being excited that it's the #1 movie. I mean, it's all through a filter of marketing, and it's so obvious. It's just so blatantly and disgustingly obvious. I get where they're trying to go. They're trying to do as much damage control as possible. But that's like trying to control the damage of, I don't know, say a fire in your park right next to one of the most popular rides. After it burns down, you got to control that before the fire starts, not after the dumpster fire starts and the people on stage at the American Gardens Theater are actually commenting, "What the heck is that smoke out there in the background in the middle of my show?"
I think that with this, she probably said, "I want to say X, Y, and Z." Social media guru was like, "Nah, you can't say that. You need to say it like this," and totally wordsmith it. And I wonder if they actually got a hold of her social media account. Possibly. That's just something in the back of my head, because it was so different. I'm like, that does not sound like Rachel Zegler. So yeah, social media gurus probably like, "Oh, you want to say that? Guess what? Nah, you can't say that. You can't say that. We got to control it." And I bet you when they say social media paid to vet any post, how much do you want to bet she probably escalated that up to somebody?
Yeah. The worst part of it for me is, like, even when you see the quote unquote course correction of those posts, not one single time has Rachel Zegler come out and admitted she was flat out wrong
Mm-hmm.
And completely apologize and say, and because when you truly apologize, what you do is you say, I realize what I did was wrong. I apologize. I take full responsibility, and I pray that those people who did not like this will eventually find it in their hearts to forgive me. That's a full apology. That has not happened yet. I don't see it. I mean, maybe when she wants a career back in Hollywood 5-10 years from now, it'll happen. But right now, I don't see it happening.
Yeah. Now that the film's dismal opening weekend, 87 million worldwide, and we already saw how much it did do in China, it's in the rearview mirror. Burbank brass are evaluating what went wrong. Really? To put Snow White's global box office haul into perspective, it's about 34 million less than Warner Brothers' Joker Folie à Deux in October, but with a bigger budget by 70 million. And that Joker sequel was hot trash. Wow. So it did worse than Joker.
They keep reporting it's 270 million, but hasn't it been assessed that it's more like in the 400 millions?
Yes, because of all the reshoots.
Mm-hmm.
And also, here's the other thing, because I think some of it was filmed in Europe, I think in the UK, we're not going to know what kind of tax breaks, because when there's something that they have to file whenever they get tax credits from the UK government, they have to detail all the production costs. So this 270 million, because they did it with The Acolyte, this 270 million is probably what they're quoting now. But once we see those documents, then we'll actually see what the total price, because this is just reported from Disney. Yeah, we spent $270 million. Did you really, though? You know? But yeah, the math doesn't work. This should be $1 billion movie, said an executive at a rival studio when the film was tracking for a 45 million to 55 million domestic opening. It ended up at below even the low end figure at $43 million.
Okay,
Actually,
so
42.2 million.
Let's say hypothetically that, let's pretend she never opened her mouth. Do we really think the movie still would have done better knowing what came out of it? It would have been like a bait and switch like Barbie. But the thing is that the trailers would have given away enough that I think people would have been like, well, this isn't really Snow White. And I'm not really convinced that it still would have been a successful movie, even had she not said anything. And by the time word got out on the first opening weekend, you know, of how completely off the map it was from, you know, the original, this movie was just doomed, whether she opened her mouth or not.
I agree with you. Because remember the trailers that we saw and people were downvoting it, and it's like, what the heck is this? It looks like garbage. It does not look like Snow White. So I agree with you. I still think
Okay, so had she not opened her mouth originally, one of the things that would have happened is this movie would have come out last year, because the reshoots where they added in the CGI monstrosity dwarfs may not have happened at all. She may, from what I understand of people who've seen the movie, it looks like they cut and pasted some things together where it's very possible that the bandits that actually are still in the movie would have had a bigger role, and that the CGI dwarfs would have never been in it at all. And from the way she was describing it at the D23 event in 2022, she never mentioned dwarfs or anything back then. So it sounds like perhaps the CGI dwarfs weren't in it at all, which means that they wouldn't have had Hi-Ho, they wouldn't have had Whistle While You Work. Those two songs, the only things that were actually throwbacks from the original wouldn't have been in this at all. So there's even the remote possibility that this movie could have done even worse at the box
Yeah,
office,
it could have been worse. Yeah.
which is weird because it was Rachel Zegler's mouthing off that put the dwarves in it. And I've heard for those people that have reviewed this and said good things about it, they actually said that the dwarfs were one of the parts they liked, even though they were weird looking. So, yeah, I don't know.
And this is where I kind of get irritated with the situation because I understand that Rachel is getting a lot of the brunt of it, but I also feel like Disney in some way is getting away with just the shitty writing to begin with, which really had nothing to do with Rachel. She just basically kind of opened a Pandora's box. But had she not opened her mouth, we would still be talking about this film in the same light that we're talking about it now. And that falls on Disney.
Yeah, it really
I
does.
would think
Again, like we were
I'm
saying
kind
earlier,
of
the
more
script had how many
angry
writers?
with them than I am with Rachel because they had a responsibility to Walt and his legacy and the 100 years of this company. I'm more annoyed with that than I am with Rachel.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, because Bob Iger, in so many things that he's done, has crapped all over Walt's legacy. And this is kind of the icing on the
This is
cake
the
to
epitome
crapping
of
on that
that.
legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This takes the Oscar on crapola. I mean, you might as well just desecrate his grave in some way, like that's how bad this is. And Iger just, he just doesn't give a shit. He's just sitting there all high and mighty, hoity toity, with his own snarky smirk to his face. And he's just sitting on his millions. He doesn't give a shit.
Well, speaking of Oscars, remember how we were like, why is Rachel Zegler at the Oscars when she wasn't even nominated? Remember we asked that question? Well, check
I
it
didn't
out.
even know about that. I didn't think.
Zegler had already strained nerves at both the studio and Steven Spielberg's Amblin partners when she complained on social media that she wasn't invited to the 2022 Oscars as a star of Best Picture nominee West Side Story, a film distributed by Disney. Sources say she had just begun production on Snow White in London. I talked about the UK credits. And Sean Bailey, the then president of Walt Disney Studios Motion Picture Production, declined to cut her loose for the telecast. After Zegler aired her grievances publicly, the Academy provided her with a ticket, even though she wasn't nominated, and Bailey was gone from the job by February 2024. So she basically pitched a fit on social media, and the
To get a
Academy
seat,
sent
yeah.
her ticket.
Yeah, like a spoiled brat.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, exactly, RJ McReady.
I feel like maybe I'm wrong, and we'll see if I'm wrong. But it certainly feels at this point in time, if I'm any executive in Hollywood, I'm not touching this person with a 10-foot pole. I wouldn't cast her in indie film and anything right now. I think that she's going to have no choice but to go find work in theaters wherever that theater may be, whether it's a touring show or Broadway or London or Australia or wherever. I don't think that she's going to be able to work in Hollywood for a while after this. And I think a lot of the Hollywood executives are kind of waiting till this Snow White thing blows over and hoping that she just kind of goes away.
Well, I'm glad you brought this up, RJ McReady, because here's where they're talking about D23, where, weird. So one top agent, says that was the moment where Disney allowed Zegler to control the narrative. The first time she shoots her mouth off, you nip it in the bud. Instead, the studio said nothing, and purists began to revolt. And as time went on, Disney became increasingly loath to weigh in on anyone's speech, considering that the studio was sued in 2024 by actress Gina Carano, who claims she was fired from The Mandalorian for voicing her opinions on hot button issues. Yeah.
And one of the big differences there is that when she did voice her opinion in social media, it had no relationship whatsoever to Star Wars, The Mandalorian, or any Disney project. It was just in her own threads, voicing her own opinion about things that were going on at the time that she has clearly proven to be completely right about, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, wait, there's more. There was no bad blood between the Snow White leads, despite press reports to the contrary. Sources say the actresses got along well, and things only got awkward during the run-up to release. Case in point, Zegler referred to Gadot as a professional pageant queen in one Instagram reply that followed their joint appearance as presenters at the Oscars this month, considered a dismissive way to describe a fellow actress. It's a darn disrespectful way to describe a fellow
Zegler
actress. You want to call her
outed
professional pageant
herself.
queen?
Zegler was the one that walked out onto that stage like she was at a freaking pageant.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the way she was like,
Oh, any
you know,
pageant coach would have
that
like thrown
smirk on
tomatoes
her
at her.
face?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Like, it's all about me. And those two didn't even look at each other. So I don't buy that there was
I
no
wouldn't want to
bad
look at
no
her
bad
either.
blood. Mm-hmm. Because it just did not work. So some observers say Disney fueled the perception of a feud by scheduling the actresses for separate events during junketing. At the March 15th premiere, which eschewed traditional red carpet interviews and opted for photos only, they tightly controlled that ish. The two stars were mostly kept apart. Inside the El Capitan Theater in Los Angeles, Zegler sat 2 rows ahead of Gadot and her family. But by that point, Disney had given up hope that the film could overcome the backlash that had been brewing like a fairy cauldron for years. You think?
Yeah, in a sense, I feel like Disney, and I'm not excusing Rachel's, actions here. I think they're two equal negatives. But at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, I kind of feel like Disney is really leaning into Rachel as the reason for the failure of this movie versus, their poor writing, because they never had any intentions of keeping the integrity of the story to begin with or without her.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only convenient for them because of her mouth. They can just kind of lean into that and get a free pass on, oh no, it wasn't us. It was this, actress that we hired. It's like, no, it was you to begin with. She was just the one that exasperated all of it.
And to that end, I want to show you, because Erin Cressida Wilson is the credited writer. You want to see what she's done in the past? Let's take a look here. The movie Secretary, I've never seen. Movie Chloe, I've never seen or heard of. Girl on the Train, I did hear about. Men, Women, and Children, I've never heard about. So you mean to tell me that this writer with a resume so thin you can read through it got handed a multi-million-dollar film to write? And to Erica's point, this is not the first time. Disney has hired a bunch of writers for certain movies who have very thin resumes.
These idiots. It was already scripted for you. How hard was it to follow that?
That's all you had to do. That's all you had to do.
Like,
Case in
you
point,
had one
Nia
job.
DaCosta. Yeah, one job. You had one freaking job.
One job. They only had one job. One job. They utterly failed. One job. And they lost that job.
You ought to record that, dude, because that was funny. Oh my gosh.
I'm wishing for this movie to go away.
Exactly. Exactly.
I'm wishing for the apple to win.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Kiss My Chris, for that 1999 super chat. Let me hit you with this. He says Disney had to reshoot the film many times in an attempt to make Rachel / Snow White more likable because test audiences hated her. I did hear that. Disney and the writer found a way to make people collectively hate the fairest princess of them all.
Well, that's like, I would hate Rachel, but not necessarily Snow White. I think people are doing a good job at separating the two.
The thing is, like Rachel's, and I said this earlier, Rachel's real life persona, her actual character, things that she's actually admitted to. She even says in interviews, I am a narcissist. He says that. In real life, she's the actual evil queen. She is vain. There are posts where she's. Let me tell you how vain this woman is. This woman is so vain. There is her own post on social media where she talks about how she loves her cheekbones and she manifested her cheekbones into existence. And she manifested her dimples into existence. And she's talking about nothing but herself and her looks.
The fact that you just said manifested, that
she
alone,
said
that's all
that not me. Like she's the one who says this, not me. That's what's so crazy about it. She is a complete narcissist. She is so much the evil queen in real life. But think about here are the traits of the evil queen. She's vain. She's narcissistic. She talks to a freaking mirror. And she wants to be alone. She does not want a man in her life. She does not want to be saved by the prince. No, this is like literally every character trait that is the evil queen lies in Rachel Zegler in her real life. That is what is so ironic about this.
Well, I will say she got kissed by the perp print. Well, not a prince, we called him a perp. Yeah. She got kissed without consent. I'm just saying. They left it.
By the bandits. Not even by a prince, but by a bandit.
Suck it up and sit there and shut up and take it.
Mm-hmm. Jonathan the perp. That's what I called him because that's exactly what he was.
Sorry for him, even though he was just Flynn 2.0 from Rapunzel.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, yes, even down to the outfit. Because I think we said it when we reviewed it. It's like I thought we were going to start hearing them singing and Last I See the Light because it was that much of a dead on.
I was just like staring at the screen with my mouth open like, oh, I've seen this before. And then I realized, wait a second, it's Flynn. And it's
Flynn Rider.
Rapunzel. I'm like, what?
Again, they should have just called their film Princess Problems. It would have been more.
That would have been a much better storyline. And then actually write this princess with being a spoiled brat, and then maybe by the end she kind of comes around, gets her humble pie, that's been honestly would have been a pretty sweet, cute story, just don't call it Snow White.
But that's what happened.
They could have kept the songs that they wrote for it.
I actually heard that this movie comes across more like a live action Wish than a live action Snow White. Somebody said that comparison.
I wouldn't
watch
say
Wish.
that. I've seen both, and they're different stories. Still crappy writing, but different stories. So I would not say that they were the same. At least with Wish, granted they cobbled some stuff together. At least that was kind of different. This one, they had the blueprint and they effed it up. Why? Because they had a certain agenda that they wanted to go with to push this movie into the theaters, and it was never going to work.
I would say
want an outfit that they want to buy. That dress was freaking hideous.
they were writing this movie in the woke era of 2016 to 2020, and evidently so.
Yes, very evident, including the beginning where I told Erica, I said I almost said WTF, because I'm like, is this the communism is great?
I actually did say it. It was just there was no one around us. But when I saw Doc with his little like paragraph spiel, he spilled out in 10 seconds. I'm sorry.
It was a hot mess. And then in the end, they're all in white with some of the worst choreography I've ever seen in my life. Jumping jacks and stomping around does not count as choreography. It's like they're all in the same color. I'm just like, why? It's just
you couldn't even tell if they were celebrating a coronation or a wedding.
I know, and I hated
what you
that.
exactly celebrate, because everybody was in white, so it kind of throws you off. It's like, okay, well, did you get married? That's why everyone's in white, or is this like your coronation? But she wasn't wearing a crown. She looked more like a bride than she. Yeah, it was seriously confusing. But
But yeah, this movie deserves to go down smoking. It really does. It's an affront to Walt's legacy. It's an insult to the audience. It really is. Audiences deserved better. You were asking people, like this is supposed to be a family film, you're asking families to put out almost $100, we'll say, just for a family of 4 to go to a movie, to see something as lackluster as this. I will tell you, kids in my theater were more excited about the Minecraft movie. And I don't mean a little excited. I mean jumping up and down, pointing at the screen, laughing at it. So it may look like a mediocre film, but kids don't know that. All they know is that's Minecraft. And it looks like Minecraft to them. That movie is coming out April 4th. Snow White had zero competition, and did this badly. All I'm going to say is I can't wait for Lilo and Stitch. I know that. Oh, the kids like that one too.
Yeah, the reaction was, there's only 3 families in our theater. It was us and 2 other. Us, another couple, and 1 family. That was it.
Oh, Hannah means family. And family means nobody gets left behind or forgotten. Except for Rachel Zegler.
I can't wait to see that Lilo and Stitch movie. Stitch is so cute, little booger. Well, folks, it's time for us to wrap up the show. Yes, please do hit that like button, ring the subscribe, keep up on all the spice. As usual, this show is so much fun to do. I love seeing your comments in the chat because you guys are the co-hosts basically of the show. I so appreciate all of you being on the pin. Wait, Bambi is next. Shoot.
Are they doing a live action of Bambi? I think that's what I've been hearing rumors.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
They did live action of Bambi already. It stars The Rock and it's on Saturday Night Live. It's great.
Oh my god.
After this live action with Snow White being such a flop, I just think that maybe moving forward the rest, well, I guess not, because Lilo and Stitch will probably prove us wrong. But I was just going to say maybe it'll start a trend where moving forward, all these live actions will just really flop more than
Well,
I don't know,
the
really
ones that
mistaken.
what was it? Peter Pan was awful. Went straight to Disney Plus. Pinocchio went straight to Disney Plus. There was a third one. What was the other third one that went straight to Disney Plus? I'm trying to remember another live action. But
I thought
yeah, they.
Pinocchio was actually pretty good. That one should have gone to theaters. That one was decent.
Oh, that's
I still
right.
haven't watched it yet. Bambi versus Godzilla.
Godzilla.
That was so darn funny.
That's
my
awesome.
gosh. Yeah, I've been looking. I'm just looking on the internet. I'm not seeing anything recent about Bambi. Go and Shogi, I think that is still happening. And the reason why I actually have a lot of hope for that one is because the Aristocats had a jazz score that was in it. And Questlove, who used to be part of the Roots, obviously has a music background. So that could actually turn out to be very, very good. I just want to hear. Everybody wants to be a cat. That's what,
Big cat, yeah.
that's what I want to
Wait.
hear. So I think that's going to work well.
Lady and the Tramp was another one that was also live action that went straight to Disney
That
Plus, I believe.
one. That was the okay.
Yeah,
that one was
that's
cute.
actually an okay movie. It's a cute movie.
That one
I,
and Pinocchio were cute. Peter Pan was that was
Oh, that
was kind of bad.
that was so
He looked
bad.
like Mowgli. I'm like, what's Mowgli doing as Peter Pan? Did you not get the same impression? I was like, what the hell is this?
does look like one. I like the Jungle Book live action though, but just because I think they have great
That one was
casting
good
in it.
too.
Yeah, Hercules. Yeah, Florentine asked about Hercules. Yeah, I heard that's happening. I the stuff that's been announced with the writing, I would say it's probably got a better chance because like Ron said, some of the stuff that was greenlit in the quote unquote woke era, it's kind of like diarrhea. You just gotta get it out. Just get it all out.
Get rid of it. Get rid of it.
Start healthy from the beginning. I mean, yeah, kind of
like that scene in Dumb and Dumber where he's on the.
I feel like they Disney and the audience and themselves a complete freaking do-over of Snow White and do it right.
That would not be a bad idea.
But they're not going to do it, you know.
Erase this one from existence.
I mean, in a way, yes, I'm going to see the Minecraft movie because Jason Momoa is in it. I fully admit my bias and how shallow I am, but I'm going to go see that. I'm pretty sure that it's going to be embarrassing how much money that movie is going to make. And unlike Snow White, the Minecraft folks, they've got all their merchandising out. I have not seen a single piece of live action Snow White merchandise.
That's because Disney couldn't afford it. And they knew they weren't going to make money off of it anyways. So why bother?
I think that I have seen what is supposed to be live action Snow White merchandise, but they still made Snow White look. It's not Rachel Zegler. It's just a cartoon image of Snow White that maybe is supposed to be Rachel Zegler, or maybe it's the original Snow White, and you kind of can't halfway tell. It's really weird.
Well, all I know is they've got to seriously retrench what they're doing because they're competing with the likes of, like, say, Universal, who has been killing it with regards to family entertainment and movies. It's like, yeah, say what you want. The Minions, those little yellow boogers make a ton of money at the box.
They're the new Looney Tunes, you know?
Oh, the day the Earth blew up. Yeah, I want to see it.
They're like the modern day Looney Tunes when you think about it. It's just that simple, keep it simple, stupid slapstick comedy.
Yeah,
you don't even
comedy
need a whole lot of dialogue, you know, because it's
physical comedy and fart jokes. That's all. I gotta find my fart gun because I bought that. That's the best $20 I ever spent at Universal.
I need to order one from Amazon.
It's so fun. I love it. But yeah, folks, it's been an amazing show. Thank you guys so much for being here, supporting the show. We love doing it. Let's go around, shout out our channels and what we got going on. Starting with Erica, where can people find you and what you have happening?
Right now, absolutely nothing. Yeah, I know it's the same spiel, guys. Sorry, we still don't have anything new on the channel. If you want to go and see our old stuff from 2024, go have fun. But right now we just don't have.
But you're stream hopping though.
Yeah,
right?
I'm stream hopping. That's basically what I'm doing. So you can find me here, T3PO, WDW Pro. Yeah, so I'm just kind of hopping around. And yep.
Yeah, don't
Eventually
knock
we'll
it.
get something up. We'll let you know.
That's what I used to do. I'm like, I don't have a channel. I want everybody else to stream. Why do I need it on a channel for?
But we did get a reprimand from my sister-in-law earlier today. She's like, "You guys better appreciate where you're at. Not everybody gets to be in Europe. You better be documenting. And I miss your vlogs." So I was like, ah.
Family pressure, gotta do it right. Yes, we love Erica being on this channel too. I love hanging out with her. If you have not seen the review, the deep dive review that Erica and I did for Snow White, please go watch that. You don't have to watch the movie. Just go watch her review.
Oh yeah. I have
of it.
fun doing that.
It was such a blast. It was such a blast doing that. I haven't had that much fun ripping a movie with somebody else in a long time. But because we are like Disney purists, there's a reason where we're coming from when we criticize this film. But somebody who did not have to fall on the grenade, known as Snow White, Ryan, where can people find you and what do you have going on?
Well, I'm on this little thing called YouTube. Follow the Bradley's Fun is the name of my channel, which I don't actually have written in my little icon there, but Tom F, he's good. He puts it on the screen. And follow the Bradley's Fun on YouTube, on X, on Instagram, on Facebook. I'm all over there. And of course, I do a daily show at 9:30 a.m. in the morning. The vast majority of the time, I'm up and awake for it, and we just cover all the same, pop culture. You get more in depth of what my views are on pop culture and theme parks, and I am a former cast member at Walt Disney World. I did put in, how many years of service did I put in? 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20, 23. So like 7 years, I think I worked for Walt Disney World, and I also worked for Universal, and I've also worked for Six Flags in Silver Dollar City. I have a lot of former theme park experience as far as working for them, working around them. I still consider this a theme park job, even though it wasn't at a theme park, but I was a gondolier at the Venetian Hotel in Las Vegas. So you'll hear my takes on things from having worked both inside and of course being a guest at theme parks. And that's what you'll see at Follow the Bradley's Fun, along with my beautiful wife and son Xander, and we do family vlogs as well as the news. So, come find us. I'm really tired right now. I just noticed it's kind of hit me.
I'm glad that you can make it on the show to talk about all this craziness, and especially with Snow White. So folks, make sure that you are subscribed to Ron. You can actually see Ron and Erica on my channel again on Saturdays for the Resort Recon podcast, and that's when we start getting into the good, the bad, and the ugly when it comes to theme parks. So we're also going to talk about Epic Universe Gate.
Yes, and for the record, Lorena and I, neither one of us have been invited by one of our many Universal team member friends to go, and so
No.
we're not in that crowd that's going to be now permanently kicked out and banned from Universe for having gone too early.
I gotta say, Universal, you should have seen you should have seen it coming, but it's okay. It's all right. As for your girl, of course, you can find me on X. You can find me on Instagram. And you can, of course, find me here on YouTube. Videos, live streams about every pop culture, mainly theme parks, getting into a little gaming now that my rig is back up. So tomorrow at 12 noon, Infinity Nikki has a new content drop. So I'm going to be playing that tomorrow and trying not to spend any money on stuff that I don't that I don't need, but I'll have that stream going on. My channel members, if you are a channel member, Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, we are going to have a watch party for the movie Flow, the animated movie about the black cat, the one that won the Academy Award over A Wild Robot, a movie that was actually made with free video software or something like that. We are going to watch that all together. The StreamYard post, the StreamYard link is in the post on my channel. Used to be the community tab, now it's the post. So please do check that out. That is going to be a very, very fun watch to see. Of course, let's see, Saturday. No, nothing Friday. Okay, that's good. Nothing. No, yes, there is Friday. Love and Deep Space. If you know, you know. And of course, Saturday, Resort Recon Live podcast. So thank you guys so much again for hanging out with us. We sure do appreciate you spending your time with us. Want to give a huge shout out to some of our international viewers, you guys over there in the UK, in India, and Australia, and what was the other place? The Philippines and South Africa. You guys are the top regions internationally for viewing my channel. So thank you so very much for watching. Everyone take care. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. And of course, we will see you all next time. Bye.
Bye. All right, everyone. Let's tidy things up.
Autobots, start your engines!
Not under the rug. We'll keep singing without fail. Otherwise, we'd spoil it.
Ready, Prime? Let's roll.
Hosing down the garbage pail and scrubbing up the toilet. Woo!
That's all, folks.
You're still here. It's over. Go home.